start with the next question. Here in this question they will ask us to convert a semicircle into a cone, right? So how do you do this? So when you look here, they've given us a semicircle of diameter 28 centimeter, which means the radius will be 14, right? Even this also radius, okay, 14. When I take it from here, then I can draw a complete circle if I wanted to. All right, so now how do we convert this, right? Convert a semicircle into a cone. So with your thumb in your index, hold it at the top end of the semicircle and then pull it down this side. All right, so when you pull it down, it is slowly going to convert itself into a cone. All right, so what do you take away from here? So here the radius of the semicircle, all right, the radius of the semicircle will become the slant height of the cone, and also the circumference of the semicircle, right, the circumference will become the circumference of the base of the cone. All right, so once more, the radius of the semicircle will become the slant height. All right, and also the circumference of the semicircle, right, the circumference of the semicircle will become the circumference of the base of the cone. Now if you are clear with that, let's solve the question. So same thing, all right, they're asking us to find the depth and the capacity. Depth means the height, right, and capacity means the volume, right? So now the first thing that we'll try to find is the radius of the cone. All right, the radius of the cone, because remember, we don't know the radius, we also don't know the height, right? So first thing we'll try to do is find the radius of the cone, which will be capital R, right? Once I know the radius, it's very easy to find the height, right? We'll put it in the slant height formula. All right, so how do we first find the radius? So like I told you, the circumference, right, this boundary of the semicircle becomes this region here, becomes a boundary or a circumference of the base of the cone, which means when I find the value of this, it will be equal to this, right? All right, so let's find the circumference or the boundary of the semicircle first. So you can see here, when you look at the circumference of a circle, what is the formula? Twice pi r, right? But here it is semicircle, which means half, right? 2's half is 1. So I'm going to have like this 1 pi r, but we don't need to write this 1, right? So you can simply see here I've written pi r. Then value of pi is what? 22 by 7. Radius is how much? Diameter is 28, which means radius will be 14, right? Then 7 and 7, 7 2s are, and when you multiply 22 into 2, we're going to get 44 centimeter, which means from here to here is 44, which should be equal to this again, right? It will also be equal to 44. All right, so you can see here, circumference of the semicircle equals base circumference of the cone, right? They're same, 44. Now when you look at the base here, of course it is only half, but when you look here, it is a full circle here, right? So you can see twice pi r. Like I said, it will be capital R. All right, so we're trying to find is capital R. Pi is into by 7. This 2 and 22 will go down to the denominator, right? Cross multiplication, the 7 will go up in the numerator. Then 22 into 2, then 2 1 2 1 7. Okay, so we're going to get the radius capital R to be equal to 7. Now let us try to find the height of the cone. So same thing, okay, radius of a semicircle equals slant height of the cone, right? Now the slant height formula was what? L square equals h square plus r square. But remember, I'm trying to find the height, right? Which means this first thing, this r will go to the other side, it will become L square minus r square, right? And then this square, if we take it to the other side, it will become root of. All right, of course here the radius I'm going to take it to be capital R, right? Now slant height is how much? 14. Radius is 7. Then 14 square is 196. 7 square is 49. When you subtract these two, we're going to get 147, right? Now let's try to find the factors. So 147, then I can divide by 7. 7 2s are, 7 1s are, then 7 3s are, and then 3, which means 140. Root of 147 is 7 into 7 into 3, right? You can see there are 2 7, which means 1 will come out. All right, so there is how I'm going to get the height of the cone to be equal to 7 root 3. Now the last part, they told us to find a capacity or the volume, right, which is 1 by 3 pi r square h. Right, so now radius we already got is 7, then height 7 root 3, right? Then 7 to 7, 7 1s are 7. Now this root 3, I already told you, root 3 equals 1.7321, right? How do you get this? The shortcut I told you, remember, is I reverse I reverse 3 to 1, right? I is 1, reverse has 7, let 7 alphabet, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. Shortcut, okay, instead of doing this long cutting, trying to find a root. All right, so 1.732. now when you multiply all this, we're going to get 1867.096 divided by 3, and when you divide it, we're going to get the volume of the cone to be equal to 622.36 centimeter cube.